So you've got an online course, you've picked out the price for it, you want to sell it, but you know there's people that just can't quite shell out the money to buy the course in full. So you're wondering, should I offer a payment plan for my online course? And if so, how many payments should it be? And what pitfalls should I avoid if using payment plans? Is this a smart move to offer payment plans? All of these are great questions, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Let's discuss. Welcome to episode 104 of The Graham Cochran Show, where I'm here to help you build your online business, work less, and live and give more to the things and people you care about. I'm your host, Graham Cochran, pumped to hang out with you today. Pretty practical question to dive into today about payment plans as an option for your online course. I get this question a lot from my students, and it's one that I've wrestled with a lot as well. So let's dive into that in just a second. I want to offer you my free passive income workshop. If you are brand new to online business and you really want to launch your own business, launch your own course, automate the sale of it, and create a business that actually works without you, right? Anybody can build a course. Anybody can learn to sell a course. Anybody can try to hawk it on, social media and do a lot of promotion. But what about having a business that runs for you in the background on autopilot while you go about your day and do the things you want to do? That's the kind of business that I'm interested. That's how I've built both of my businesses with this model. And I teach it to you all in my passive income workshop. So what I'm doing in this 45-minute workshop is walking you through the 4 components you need for passive income. Yes, it actually can work, how it works, and what order they need to go in. Most people skip 1 to 2 of these. Not only the components you need, but actual scripts you can literally copy and implement right away in your business. And even better, if you are brand new and you're like, look, I don't even know anything about this. Like, who would I sell stuff to? What would I sell? I don't even know what to build my business around. A good part of this workshop helps you figure out what your profitable idea is and then how to find the right people to sell your products to once you start building them. All of that's included in the workshop, including what tools I'm using and what cheap or free alternatives you can use as well. It's packed with a bunch of goodness. So I want you to get your hands on it. As my gift to you, it's a foundational training that everybody should go through. And it's going to help you walk through everything you need to create specifically your first $1,000 a month of passive income, even if you only have just 30 minutes a day to work on it. Pretty reasonable goal that you can definitely achieve if you apply what you learn in this workshop. And it's my gift to you, get you up and running. All I ask is that you actually not only watch it, but that you implement it and go build a business off of this free material. It's available at grahamcochran.com/workshop. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to link to it below this video. You can click on it, watch it. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to this podcast, then you can just go to grahamcochran.com/workshop on your phone or computer or wherever you're at. Grab it there. Absolutely free. And then also what happens when you get access to that workshop is you will be on my email list, which is great because that's where I'm going to be sending you some updates on not only brand new content that's coming out every single week, exclusive content and trainings that I do just for the people on my email list, but as I mentioned the last couple of weeks, updates on my book, because I really want you to get your hands on it and be able to share it with a ton of people when it comes out months down the road, but I'll be giving you more details on that as we go. grahamcochran.com/workshop. It's all there for you for free. Cool. All right. Let's dive into the content today. You think about payment plans is sort of just the normal day-to-day operation for selling things these days. It used to be, okay, yeah, I'll buy a house with a payment plan, right? I'll have a mortgage payment. Cars have gotten so expensive and very few people save up to pay cash for cars anymore, which is kind of sad because it's actually totally doable, especially if you're a business owner, you can pay cash for your cars. You should pay cash for your cars. If you're a business owner, you can do this. But most people don't. And so they want the monthly payment for their car. We do this with college. We don't pay for college anymore. So it's just monthly payments on student loans, but even just normal things, right? Like, for example, I've been noticing that a lot of companies are using this financing department, this company called Affirm, to create monthly payments for any of their products. And I think I saw this a couple years ago with Royal Caribbean, or maybe it was Carnival Cruise Lines. I've sailed on all of them because cruising is one of my love languages. So they send me mailers all the time. Even now, while you can't cruise, I've got a bajillion mailers every week about cruises I could potentially take in the future when COVID is potentially over. But anyway, I get all the updates from Carnival and Norwegian and Royal Caribbean and all of them. And I remember the first time I saw, maybe a year and a half ago, it was right before COVID, that Carnival was saying, instead of the price of the cruise, maybe it's, I don't know, $500 a person or $400 a person or whatever, $1,000 for your trip, whatever. Instead of showing you the price of the cruise, they were showing you the monthly cost. You could make payments to pay for your cruise. So it was like $25 a month to take your dream vacation. And I was like, oh my gosh. Same thing with, I live in Florida, so there's theme parks everywhere, whether it's Busch Gardens here in Tampa or just down the street in Orlando. There is Disney World, right? The House of Mouse is there, and all the theme parks and Universal, all of them now offer whatever their seasonal pass or annual pass is, although Disney stopped their annual pass. But for the last few years, it's been, hey, enjoy the magic of Disney for just $13 a month per person or whatever. Maybe that's Busch Gardens prices because Disney's probably a lot more. But they were selling you the monthly cost to have the annual pass. Instead of paying for the annual pass once, which is the whole point of an annual pass, generally speaking, pay for it up front and you can go all year long, they just broke it down to a monthly cost. So you're seeing payments everywhere, right? You know this. So the question is, should we do this with our online courses? And plenty of people do. So what I thought I'd do today is break down a few pros and cons of offering payment plans, talk about when I think it makes sense to offer a payment plan, and then how many payments should you make for your payment plan. I want to address all of that here. Again, my opinion, how I handle it. But let's start with the pros and cons. And let's start with the pros because there's a lot of them. Number one, and this is the most obvious one, is a payment plan makes your course more accessible to more people. Okay? So if you have a $400 online course, not everyone has $400 to pay for that course today. But if they were monthly payments of around $100 a month, they could probably swing that. It makes the entry point of your course more accessible to more people. So what that leads to is more sales. So its greatest strength is, in theory, you offer a payment plan, you will make more sales. And if your product is good and if it delivers on its promise, then those people will stick around and you will have basically made more money by just making the entry point a little bit easier for someone who's a little unsure if they can afford it. Now, I'm a good example of this because one of my sort of online business mentors and a friend of mine is Ramit Sethi, who runs I Will Teach You to Be Rich and Growth Lab. And I remember the very first course of his that I purchased back in 2013. It was a $2,000 course. Money wasn't the problem. I had plenty of money in my business to pay for it. It would have been a business expense, so that would have been a tax deduction in and of itself. But I just wasn't sure if the information in the course was worth $2,000. Not that it wasn't worth it, but to me, like I had no problems with him charging $2,000, but I wanted to know, is there enough material in this course for me that would justify the cost? So it was $2,000, or he had a 12 payment option. So basically you could pay for the course over the year. So he broke it down. It might've been $200 a month, $199 a month, something like that. So it ended up being a little bit more in the end when you paid for it, but I got in for only $199. So I wanted to dip my toes in the water with his course. So I took him up on the payment plan option. The course was amazing. There was stuff in it that I knew, of course. I mean, anything you learn, there's generally parts of it that you know. But there were some things in there that I hadn't considered before or hadn't implemented that were very insightful. And I remember, and this is how I got connected with him, is I remember I implemented one little idea from his course in an upcoming launch I was about to do. And that little idea made me an extra $15,000 in that launch by implementing this one little idea that I didn't even think about. But his course mentioned it, taught it. It made sense to me. I implemented it, made $15,000. So that's, 8x, 7x the cost of the full course. And I hadn't even paid for the full course yet. So I knew, okay, this whole thing was for sure worth $2,000 because I just made 15 grand off of it. And now I can use this concept in all my launches and make lots of money. And I did. So anyway, I became a testimonial for him. And I think he like pimps out my face and my testimonial all over the place now. But the point is, for me, I was on the edge. So a payment plan was good for someone like me to test the waters. Since then, I've paid full price, upfront for all of his courses that I've bought because I knew the value was there. I didn't have to use a payment plan. So that's the biggest pro. I think you know that. A secondary one is it creates some more predictable future income. When you have payment plans coming in, you have the steady sort of recurring revenue that makes the next few months of revenue a little more predictable. And then the other hidden one is, like I mentioned, you can actually charge a bit more. If you use payment plans, the whole idea is you charge more in total for the privilege of them only having to make up one payment at a time. It's not like you're charging interest, but it's similar. So if you had a $400 course, if they can't afford $400, maybe you break it up into 3 payments of, I don't know, $175. So in the end, they're paying over $400 for the course, but they got access to it for only $175 to test the waters and figure it out. So you get to charge a little bit more for your course over time if you use the payment plan option. And you should. Just a little aside here, if you do offer a payment plan, it should not be the same cost of your course divided by the number of payments. That makes no sense. You want to reward the people who pay in full so they get the best deal, because the reward for the people that make the payments is flexibility with payment. They don't have to pay it all up front now, but they should pay more for that privilege in the end. So those are the 3 pros, right? It makes your course more accessible to more people, so AKA you can make more sales, create some predictable future income, and you can actually charge a bit more in total. Now let's talk about the cons. Number 1, not everyone makes all the payments. It's a great theory that you offer a payment plan, but you have to understand the moment you move into offering payments as an option, there are going to be people who don't make all the payments. Now, fortunately, in the land of Kajabi or other payment providers like this, when they fail to make a payment, after a certain number of failed payments, Kajabi blocks them from the course. So you're protected in one sense. They're no longer going to have access to the course, and this is a huge reason why you should make your courses stream only. But they still will have gotten in, and if they've taken the time, they could have watched every single thing, and they never pay you the full amount. So you will deal with failed payments. 100% guarantee you'll deal with failed payments. Second con is it delays revenue that you could have now. So it's the flip side of the pro, which is, I have predictable income. Well, yeah, it would have been even more predictable if you got it all when you launched it or when you sold it, because then you have it all now. What would you rather have? All your money now or potentially all your money predictably over the future? I'll take all the money now, if I'm being honest. So it depends on how you look at it, but I'd rather have a launch or open my course or have the sales coming into my funnel and have all the money now. And then here's the biggest con, in my opinion, of offering payment plans, is that it attracts lower quality buyers. Not all the time. And again, I am the exception to that own rule that I just said. When I bought Ramit's, the first course of his that I bought, I was not a low quality buyer, but I had my own reservations. I actually have a star student of his in the sense that I'm the kind of guy he wants as a customer. I buy lots of his courses that are very high priced and give really good testimonials all day long. So I'm an exception to the rule. So again, just because someone uses a payment doesn't mean they're a low quality buyer. But when you lower the threshold to get into your course, it's no different than lowering the cost of your course. I'm always talking to my students about don't go cheap with your courses, because when you go sub $50, generally speaking, especially if there's no upsells and order bumps and all that kind of stuff, but if your product is truly sub $50, generally speaking, you attract a low quality buyer. Now, not everyone agrees with me on this because they think a buyer is a buyer and buyers lead to more sales. But in my experience, a lot of my super cheap products I used to offer attracted people who wanted refunds, complained more, wished that the course had more. When I charge a lot and I have higher paying customers, they seem to never refund. They seem to complain less. They seem to be more satisfied. It's because the type of person that's only willing to spend a little bit is already a little skeptical, is already a little stressed and really needs that money. So if they're not quite seeing the value in the course, like, I really need the money back, which means they really weren't in a position to buy the course anyway. So worst case, you lower the price by offering payments, you attract a whole crop of new people, and then they all refund or don't make the payments. And then basically you're back to the same number of sales you would have had, but now you should have more customer service headache. Something to consider. Not always true. For sure not always true, but in my experience, it attracts a lower quality buyer. So the cons are not everyone makes all the payments, you delay all your revenue that you could have had now, and it attracts lower quality buyers. Okay. Let's talk about how many payments I suggest you make if you do want to go this route. And then we'll follow up and finish up with sort of when is the best time to offer a payment plan. So when it comes to payments, because I'm skeptical and because I have a hard time trusting people to make future payments, my own experience, I lean on the fewer payment side. Ideally 3. I don't go anything above 6. The most I've ever done is 6 payments. But I found that after payment 3, I started to see payments drop off. So I prefer 3 payments. So if you have a course, if it's $300, I would break it up into 3 payments max if it's me. Again, my friend Ramit, a lot of people will do 12 payments, makes it super affordable. I get that. I'm just not a fan of delaying revenue for a year, of attracting that kind of customer, creating that many more points of failure for customer service, payment failure, things like that. So I prefer 3 as a sweet spot, no more than 6. Again, when you do payments, you want to make sure that the total payments add up to be more than the cost of the course. There's no formula for how much more. It could be 10% more, it could be 20% more, but you're tacking on a premium for the luxury of not having to pay in full. Therefore, the people who do pay in full, who I think are your super fans and should be the majority of your students, they are rewarded by paying in full. They're getting the best deal possible. Now, when should you offer payments? One rule of thumb is that you could certainly offer them as an option on your sales page. So you can you go through your course sales copy. At the bottom, it's like, hey, you can buy it for $297 or 3 payments of $120, something like that. So they're either getting for $297, or if they make the 3 payments, they're paying $360. So they're paying a little bit more, but they're getting the payment plan. So in essence, you could use the payment plan as your tier, as the second option. A few weeks ago, we talked about tiered pricing, offering multiple tiers on your sales page. It's not the same as a more expensive tier necessarily, but it does allow you to leverage that psychological phenomenon of having 2 to 3 options on the sales page, which shifts their focus and the question in their mind from, should I buy this, to which one should I buy? Because they're trying to figure out which option makes sense for them. Should I just save the money and pay in full, or should I go for the payment plan? Which one should I do? And that's always a good place to be, is giving them options. Now, this is legitimately an option you could do, is making it an option. Some people, this is the primary way they sell it. It's only the payment plan as the main thing. And then in small text, save X number of dollars by paying in full. So for example, when you launch a course, it could be a $1,000 course, and you could say 12 monthly payments of $100. So they could get started for $100, and it's only 12 payments of that. Or you could have a little button below that says save $200 by paying in full. So then when they click on that, it takes them to the pay in full option of $1,000 right now. Again, 2 problems I see with that are, you're only offering one option on the sales page that's very visible, even though there is a second option, it's kind of buried. So it kind of looks like one option. And again, I'm not a fan of 12 monthly payments. That sounds ridiculous to me, personally speaking, because I don't want to deal with the hassle of failed payments for a year in terms of potential failed payments. When do I like to offer payment plans? Here's what I do. I don't offer payment plans publicly. What I do is when a launch is over, I then offer payment plans to the non-buyers. The way I see it, I have a price. I think the price makes sense. I usually have a couple of options, a more expensive tier, and then the basic price. Let them choose. If they see the value in the course, they'll buy. If they see the value because my copy has done a good job, I've positioned it well, and I believe in it, if they're the right customer, they will buy and pay full price. If they don't, I don't know if it's because it's not a good fit for them or if it's because the price tag was just a little bit high for them right away. So what I like to do is when the launch is over, let's say you do a launch on Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, you launch a course, cart closes on Friday. The next Monday, give them the weekend to chill. The next Monday, send out an email to your list of people who did not buy last week and send them an email that says something like this in the subject line. Is this why you didn't buy? Or is this why you didn't buy, fill in the blank for the name of your course, ? They might open it because if they didn't buy, but they wanted to buy, they're going to be curious to see what you're saying. And in that email, you say, hey, I noticed you didn't buy my awesome course that I launched last week. If it's because it's just not a good fit for you right now, you can totally disregard this email. You're all good. But if price was the reason why you didn't buy, I'd like to offer you a payment plan. And that's when you just simply say, hey, if $500 was too much, how about 3 payments of $175? You could get started today with the course, and I'm going to give you 24 hours or 48 hours to take me up on this payment plan option where you could still get into the course today for only the first payment. And then it's just 2 more easy monthly payments after that. What that's going to do, and make sure you have some kind of time frame on it, 24 hours, 48 hours, something like that, 72 hours. What that's going to do is ensure that for people that really wanted the course, was a good fit, but the price was just the thing keeping it out of line for them, it's going to give them an opportunity to reconsider, to rejoin if they didn't join last week, and to join at a more accessible price point to get started. And for some people, that's all it takes is like, you know what, I really wanted it, but there was no payment plan option, so this is great. I'll take you up on that. You can even automate this in your funnel. I do this with my course, Automatic Income Academy. People go through my funnel, they're presented the course, and there's 2 tiers of it, but you pay up front. It is the price for the course. This version or this version, either way, you pay up front. And I think my course is actually very reasonably priced considering the alternatives in the same space that charge 4 times as much for the course. I've made it very accessible. That's why most people just pay for it straight up because it is accessible and it's a great value for what it is. But I have an automation inside of Kajabi that basically after the doors close on my sort of hidden launch inside of Kajabi, it can see based off of tags that I'm using whether the person purchased and whether it's after sort of the window closing on this offer that I'm offering inside of my funnel. And then it automatically emails them if they didn't buy, and it says something very similar, like, is this why you didn't join? And it offers a payment plan option for them for the course. And there's sort of a time frame on that. And if they take me up on that, great. And some people do. And it's another way to get people into the course that wouldn't otherwise, especially once they see the value in it, especially in my niche where it's teaching you how to start a business. You can go make money off of what you're learning in the course literally the day that you get it. Which makes you feel very comfortable paying the remaining 2 payments. But I only offer 3 payments, so it's 1 today and then 2 follow-up payments for that course. And again, like I said, you can automate that. So I like to look at a payment plan option as a post-launch. You didn't buy, maybe this will get a few more sales. And it does work. Won't be a ton, because again, the people that really wanted to buy, they would have bought already, but it will get you some more people. That price was the obstacle. And that's how I look at payment plans. I think they're a great tool. I just don't love drawing the payment out and potentially attracting the wrong kind of buyer. It's just my personal experience, and you might differ. So the question I have for you is, if you have online courses right now, do you already offer a payment plan? And if so, how many payments do you offer? And do you offer on the sales page? Leave me a comment below if you're watching on YouTube. And if you don't offer a payment plan already, why or why not? And if you are considering it, where do you think you will put the payment plan? Because I don't want you to do just what I'm saying. Again, I'm speaking out of my own experience. Some people have a lot of success with payment plans, but I'd love to know where you're at. And certainly if you've had some good experience with payment plans on the sales page or extended payment plan options, leave a comment below and let everybody else in the community know. Share your experience as well. Help us all out. But what I'd like for you to consider if you haven't ever offered one is to at least test it out on your next launch or automate it in your funnel if you feel like your course, you could sell a few more copies. It's a test. If you're in Kajabi or a similar platform, you don't have to do anything but create a new offer. You already have the same course or the bundle or whatever you're selling. Just create a new offer for the exact same course. Name it internally the payment plan option or 3-month option or whatever, and then create the payment options, the whatever those payments are, and then point to that inside of an email that you send after a launch to people, or point to that inside of your funnel after a certain number of days, and run with it if it's in your funnel for 6 months. And then look at your stats, look at your data, and say, how many people are taking me up on this? Are they making all their payments? Are they failing their payments? And just get an idea of, is it creating more income or revenue in your business from that course? And if it is, what percentage of your total course revenue over the last 6 months came from the payment plan? And if it's a decent percentage, then you're on track. Maybe you should offer more, maybe offer it sooner. If it's a small percentage, like 10 to 20%, maybe that's just a nice sweet spot. You keep it where it is, but you can track this. If nobody's taking you up on the payment plan option, you could try extending the payment plan so you can have a lower price and see if that helps. Or you can just say, you know what, forget it. It's not working for me. All this is testable. And that's really the way to make these decisions. Does it help you make more money and get more successful students or not? That's it. And again, if you're like, wow, this is fascinating, but I really just got to launch my business and I really would like to automate it before I even think about payment plans. Or as you're thinking about a passive income side of things, maybe payment plans will help you, but you still haven't implemented all of this stuff. You need to take my passive income workshop. It's going to walk you through everything that I do for both of my brands to create automated income every single day. This is money coming in, launches basically happening privately behind the scenes, automated, so I don't have to be promoting to my list all the time. It's creating money for me day and night, whether I'm in the office creating an episode like this for you or at the beach like I was last week. It's working. And I want to teach you how to do this. It's very linear. It's a system. This isn't magic. It's not really that complicated, but it is systematic. And you can do it. You can take what you know, what you're good at, maybe what you're doing as a service, and you can turn it into a digital asset that can be sold on autopilot. But you do need all 4 components in place. You do need some strategy in place, and you need to understand if your idea is profitable, who to sell it to, when to sell it, how to sell it, and how to automate it. And I teach all of that inside of my passive income workshop. Just go to grahamcochrane.com/workshop, or if you're on YouTube, you can click the link below and get access to it there. Absolutely free as my gift to you. Thanks for hanging out. Hope this was helpful for you in your business. As always, my friends, stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you in another episode real soon.